Hello, this is Oddleif from Communic, and you are listening to Dave Softees Metal Meltdown at Metal Messiah Radio.
Alrighty, Metal Maniacs, here we go. Please help me welcome to Metal Messiah Radio, hailing from progressive heavy metal power metal band Communic from Norway. Always pushing for perfection on vocals and guitars, we have Mr. Oddleif Stensland.
Yeah, hello. How are you doing?
How are you doing? Welcome to the Metal Meltdown. Oddleif, it's an honor to have you here. How are you doing out there, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm up here in Norway. So, winter is creeping up on us, so it's getting colder, but that's how how it is.
Yeah, I have to tell you, it's an honor to get with you. This is our first time, and the timing is perfect as Communic has a brand new offering, the band's fifth release, Where Echoes Gather, on AFM Records. The first tune I ever heard from Communic, I guess it was 2005, was Under a Luminous Sky, and I still remember that tune. That kicked ass. And that was my exposure to your band way back when. So it's a long time due. So I appreciate your time and being here today.
Cool. Yeah, it's been a long ride, but it's like 6 years since our last album now. So it was on time that we actually managed to get our shit together and get this new stuff out. So, but the last 6 years since 2011, it's been for us. It didn't felt that long, but for the fans, I think they have been kind of worried about when are we going to release something new, or are we disbanding or whatever. So yeah, it's good to be back now.
Exactly. In this day and age, if you don't hear from a band after a few years, you figure, hey, the way the world economy is and the music business, the way it is, you figure, bands come and go, and maybe Communic has gone. But it's great that you're here, and we're here to talk about your new music.
Well, that's true. So if you want to stay active, you have to be like releasing albums every 2 years or so. So, but for us, we focus on the band is not our main priority. The band is not what we do for a living. So we need to take the steps that we need to in order to proceed. And we also don't want to change members because of if people have something other to focus on for some period of time, we need to kind of wait around a little bit and continue, because we have been together now as the same three people since early 2003. So it's been we are kind of proud of that.
That's definitely something to be proud of. Let's mention the rest of the band. We have Eric Mortensen on bass, and you have Tor Alti Anderson on drums, and yourself on the vocals and guitar. And it is quite interesting that you've been around so long that there has been no changes, because that there are bands such as Scarian, a band from Norway that I like, but from album to album they have a different lineup, and you were once part of that, and that album was great.
Yeah, I know, but that's one of the reasons that I think that we have the magic that we have in the band, because the combination of the three of us, it's what make Communic sounds as Communic. And if we would have changed our bass player, we would probably sound a lot different than we actually do. And if Eric was quitting our band, we would probably have to add another guitar player as well, because he's the only one that I know that can play this kind of bass guitar that completes me as a guitar player. So, and Tor has his own style and does his things, and everything that we do is like a combination of the three of us. And we have tried several times adding more people to what we do, but we've tried guitar players, like a second guitar player, to kind of make it sound more heavy. But it actually, some of the magic actually went away when we added more stuff into maybe we are just too connected as we are to kind of open up, or kind of let other people into our kind of sphere or whatever. But adding another guitar player actually made some of the dynamics disappear. We didn't get that kind of interaction between the instruments, and because we do a lot of down stuff, and we go faster and we go up and down in tempos, and I think, and we also tried to add keyboards, and we did that in the beginning of the band. We added keyboards also when we played live, but then everything sounded so nice again. We lost that kind of thrashy edge when you added the keyboards that was kind of softly carpeting out the sound, if you understand what I mean. So, so we actually, the tightness of the band and the dynamics that we have as a trio is actually really, really good. And as long as we manage to pull that off when we play live, that is how we will continue to do it. Because also when we play live, we have a really massive sound, and some people actually come talking to us after the show and ask us where we hide the other people, but and that is pretty cool. And we never used click tracks or like tracks on running on clicks in the background. When we go on stage, we only play the instruments that we play, and when you are just three people, that is a challenge, because if I make a mistake, everyone will hear it. But when we play live, it's more about the energy and the expression of the feelings in the songs, and it doesn't have to be completely perfect, and you will not see me jumping around on the stage like a maniac, and I try to focus on my playing and singing and kind of telling the songs and the expression in the songs. And often in our shows and on the concert, you don't see like too much headbanging going on. In the front of the row, you see people with closed eyes listening to the music and kind of feeling the atmosphere. But of course, we have more aggressive parts and stuff as well. But I like that kind of way of the dynamics that the three-piece actually gives to our sound.
Yeah, and it's very refreshing to hear what you're saying about how your band is your band and how the three of you do work this out and have your way of doing things. And it's very refreshing to hear this kind of situation with bands, because you don't really hear this that much anymore, ever, really.
Well, I don't know, but for us it has been like that. We have had some problems, we have had some injuries, we have had some period like the last 6 years. We have had like I had a new son, Tor Atle, our drummer. He got twins in the same period, so we kind of needed to take a step down, and we never broke up, but we needed to take care of the families as well, and we all have daytime jobs as well, so we need to turn up at work in the morning as well. So the band is something that we do on the sides. Of course, we take it seriously, and we have a record company, and everyone is investing in this band, and we also do that personally. But we know that we need to be present at somewhere else as well. And taking all this into consideration, there is stuff like releasing a new album takes some time then, and like the two first albums that we released, that was before we got children, so then
Exactly.
we could do it like fast, and the time building up to the time when you are recording your debut album, you are kind of in your youth, and you are the only thing you do is kind of maybe go to work and play guitar in the afternoon. So now everything is kind of different, because there are so many other elements that wants a part of you, and playing in a band is like maybe I call it like the free space time in the week when I can go to rehearsal with the guys and like some old ladies go to their
Exactly, yeah.
So that is like and when we go to rehearsal, maybe we practice for 1 hour and we are sitting talking for 2 hours, just talking crap or making social, being social. So
it's your freedom away from the family and the responsibilities.
And that is and I think that is where the magic actually happens, when we are in the rehearsal room, because we are that band that maybe it's old school these days, but we don't go into the studio or sit at home in the studio and record stuff like in the programs or in the computer. We, of course, we have some ideas and we go to practice and we jam it out as a band, like playing it. And that is where we kind of combined all the ideas that we get and put the songs together.
I think that's a great segue to learn more about this upcoming, this brand new release. So if we can spend some time talking about this and where this effort was recorded and who produced it, and what was the writing process like. I would imagine it's pretty much the same process that you've always had, but we've never talked before about this, so I'm very interested to know about it. So let's talk about this brand new offering.
Yes, in this band, it's mostly me writing the music. And the lyrics as well. I do that. Basically, I have a lot of ideas lying around. I have a studio at home and record stuff, and I take it to practice with the other guys, and then we combined everything and puts it together. And it's been that way since the beginning. We have changed a little bit in like when it comes to producing it, because I've gone back to do more of it on my own, because I pretty much know how I want it to sound, and the only thing that I can't do in my own studio is drums. So for the two last albums that we actually did, most of the stuff has been recorded here in my studio, and we recorded the drums at a more like treated studio where they have like a proper drum room to record drums, like the dynamics, or what's called when you use organic drums, like real drums and stuff. So they have a better room for that.
Interesting.
So that is how we did this time as well. We recorded the drums. Actually, they was recorded back in 2011. So it's a long time since. No, sorry, 2013. Sorry, 2013 or 14. We recorded the drums for this new album. So it's been a long time. And the rest of the stuff has been recorded here at my place: the guitars, the bass, and the vocals. And when everything was like ready to be mixed, we sent it to Eike Frisee in Germany, Camelon Studios in Germany, where he mixed everything and mastered it and made it ready. So that is the progress, and we will probably do that next time as well. Probably record the drums somewhere else and do the rest here at my place. And that gives me the freedom that, because I'm still having small children, so when they go to sleep at night, I can work on something in my studio, and if I have a good day, I can sit there for more rest of the night and record. If I don't have the feeling or the good energy, I can just quit. So, and take it up another day. So it's the freedom of working when you are the most inspired. So that is for me, that is a good way of doing it.
It's excellent. And how many children do you have right now?
I have three.
3 children already. Wow.
3 children. Yeah, the youngest is 3 and the eldest is 9. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that explains where you've been for 6 years. Absolutely, it's a big responsibility.
It is, and I of course it's easier to just go on tour.
Yeah.
And be away, but I kind of want to be present at home when my kids are young, and they are soon old enough to not care too much where I am. So
Right.
So suddenly I think that is probably why you see many of the older bands going on tour again, because then they are free to do it. And yeah,
exactly.
So
priorities change everything, and you still have some years for the kids to grow up before you could dedicate more time to Communic and all that. But I would imagine you would have some sort of touring to go on to support this new release, Where Echoes Gather. Do you have some shows coming up that we'd like to talk about for this new release?
of course we are looking for a tour, and we know that we have to do that, and we want to do that as well, but we are kind of looking at maybe shorter tours. We would like to go like 10 to 15 dates, and then later do another 10 or 50 dates, and like split it up in shorter tours. That would be better for us than like do one big tour of 4 weeks. So it depends what we can find and what we can do, and see how the album will do. But we are working on it, but right now we only have the release party we are having next weekend in our hometown here. So we are, for the next Saturday, we are playing the songs from the new album live for the first time. So that will be really cool, but it's in our hometown, so there's probably only for the local friends and local fans. Yeah.
So it's probably going to be very intimate for your
there's
people.
The venue is like 250 people capacity, so it's not that big. So, but it's a small town. There's only like 14,000 people here. So
wow, interesting. And what can we tell the people of what they can expect to hear from the sound of Where Echoes Gather? It's not going to be exactly the same kind of sound as in the past, but yet it does remain the same. It's your sound, it's your style, and like you said, it's progressive power metal, but there are thrash elements, and the music does have very kick-ass elements to it, in my opinion. But for a new fan of Communic that may not know of Communic, the new people that are getting involved in metal, the new listeners, what can we tell them about what they can expect from Where Echoes Gather?
I think this is maybe the most progressive album that we have done, probably the most intense as well. it will require some listening time from the listener, because I don't think that you can listen to this once and kind of make up your mind if you about it. And it's pretty difficult to put Communic in a label or genre, and because there are so many elements that we kind of put in there without, we don't think too much about what we are doing. We try to follow where the music brings us, but it's progressive, it's power. Some guy told us that it sounded like Pink Floyd on speed or something.
I can see that, yeah.
So, but some other people compare us to Nevermore and that kind of way. But that is, I think, basically because of the way I'm singing and kind of that kind of connection. But it's hard to describe it. If people ask me, I say it's emotional, progressive power metal or something.
Right.
I don't know.
There's definitely something about your music that's going to move somebody, if for maybe not for the same reasons as it may move somebody else. Someone that likes a lot of prog metal, they'll like it for the reasons they like it. The people that like more power will like it because of what they like about it, and the people that like more aggression will like it because of that reason. So there's definitely something about your music that it fits well with anybody for whatever reason suits them. That's how I put it. That's what I think about it.
Yeah, and I can agree, but we don't picture ourselves actually as a progressive band, because when you are talking about progressive metal, people are thinking about Dream Theater and stuff like that, and I think we are pretty far away from being like a progressive band like that.
You don't have keyboards like you said, so
But we never sit down and try to be complex or try to be progressive. We never sit down and think about the timing of the songs or whatever. We just kind of flow with how the song kind of progress, and then we can sit in the studio and well, hey, this kind of is a different timing, and then we figure out that you have to count to 7 and not to 4 to be able to kind of get the stuff to get together. But I don't know, it's hard to say how people would describe it, but we don't try to be progressive. We try to write good songs and interesting songs and something that is a little bit challenging. We don't make it easy for ourselves and not for the listeners as well, because you will have to play this album for probably 5 to 10 times before you actually get into the songs and before they opens up. So it's a challenge.
The most important thing, though, in my eyes, when I'm thinking of you and this music, is did you have fun getting where echoes gather together? Did you have fun the entire process of recording and writing and getting to the point that you're at now? Did you enjoy this process? Did you have fun getting this all together?
Yes, and that was my main goal going into this album, because after the last album, The Bottom Deep, that was a really difficult album for me personally, and everything on that album is so depressing and dark and difficult stuff. And after that album, I actually had some problems actually finding inspiration and the joy of actually writing music again. And I felt that I needed to find that spirit or find that joy, and so that was why I was kind of searching for something more colorful, or how can you say it? Maybe that is the reason why this is a little bit more progressive or challenging, because I wanted to kind of challenge myself a little bit, and also the other two guys, because we spent a lot of time putting this together and kind of figure it out, and playing these songs together is kind of brought back some smiles to our faces again, and the topics in the lyrics are pretty dark still, but it's not that depressive as the Bottom Deep album was. So it was really good time putting this together, and I kind of got back some of that youthful playing again. I think that was needed in my case.
That's great. And I want to know, for the fans and for Communic, where would you say would be the best place for the fans to get a copy, either the digital copy or the physical copy of the new CD? I will give a link, the communic.org link. I think maybe that would be probably the easiest maybe the best place for you as the band. And then you have, of course, your Facebook, facebook.com/official Communic. I'm sure
Yeah,
that's
sure.
very easy for the fans to find shop link there where they can get the CD and also the digital copies as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, the digital stuff is all over the place. I think it's iTunes and all that standard stuff, I guess.
Right.
But on over at AFM Records, they have like a complete list of over all the places where you can buy the album. I think we have linked it up on communic.org as well, and we are also working on a web shop from our own web page there where we are going to be able to send out like signed album copies and some other merchandise stuff that we have on our own. So that is also like in the work these days. It's not completely done, but it's only some testing left before people can go in there and check for some stuff.
Yeah, in my experience, the merch links are always a work in progress. It's always updated for every band I've ever talked to. It's always something that always is worked on, so that's nothing new. That's always going to be that way, especially if you have new music and new shirts and new whatever. Speaking of which, what kind of merch does Communic have available now and will be working on for their fans? Could you talk about that?
Yeah, we are the new shirts with the new design is like in the mail or in the shipment.
Right.
It's on the way. We have like control over our own merchandise, so that is like sold from our own shop. So and on the concerts as well. But basically, the new shirt design that's coming in now, and we have some of the old designs also, but most of the old designs is actually gone out, so we need to reprint the old because there's still some questions and demands for some of the older album artwork t-shirts, so we will try to fill it up.
It's very interesting that you mentioned that because that was what I was going to ask you next about the back catalog of all the previous Communic material, and knowing that Communic was on Nuclear Blast for all those albums and now on AFM. By the way, what happened with Nuclear Blast and how do you feel with AFM in comparison to Nuclear Blast? If you'd like to talk about that, maybe you don't, but if you'd like,
that's no problem. Because we have a good relationship to Nuclear Blast, and we have always had that. We love those guys, and they've done so much good things for us all the way since the beginning. So we have no problem with splitting ways with them, and we totally understand. It was their decision because we had one more album to do in the contract. If they wanted it, they had like an option to do the last album. We actually spent too long time preparing it, and they felt that if they was going to release this album, they would need to promote us all over again, like start up fresh. And we are not the most active band, and Nuclear Blast is probably getting too big for us.
oh,
And so when they decided to get us off the contract, then we was kind of wondering if we should do this on our own or should we contact other labels and see where we can proceed. And we sent a few emails to some contacts, and AFM was really enthusiastic about it and answered the emails immediately. It was just a matter of hours. They was like onto us and had some great ideas about how to get us back on track, because we knew that we needed to kind of start up fresh again and do a bigger like build up before we released the album. And we probably could have released this album like in June or July or something like that, but we decided to keep it a little bit longer and save it until October now, because then we could like use some more time to kind of build up the tension towards the album. So far it's been great. Only respect for the guys over at Nuclear Blast, and I know that they like our band as well, and they actually told us, we love you guys, but we need you guys to be more active. And that was actually the kick in the ass that we actually needed to. I think it's a good thing, because now we get you get a kick in the ass and get moving or get lost. So for us, it has been a push in the right direction and kind of help to the better. So
that's great. And it's almost like a new beginning for you on AFM, and with family this time. You have your kids and you have your time with family and all that, and you are not going to be dedicated to do everything that nuclear blast may demand on you. So I understand what you're saying, and so it's really cool that you're still on good terms with them, and that AFM is working out for you as well.
Yeah. But the cool thing is that they never demanded anything. They never kind of rushed us to kind of proceed. It was our decision to come up with the album whenever we are ready. But when we was ready to do it, like when we started to talk with Nuclear Blast in 2016 about this release, there was kind of so there was never a pressure or demand from them. They never even asked for the demo of the songs in the roll-up for it. Maybe it was because they didn't care, or that they trusted us. I don't know. And the reason also why we spent 6 years is actually because now we feel that we have more time to kind of proceed and use time on this band. So hopefully we can be more active and do more concerts and do more shows, and because now it's easier with the family priorities and stuff. Everything is like kind of making more sense now than it did 3 years ago. So.
And it probably would make more sense for you when the kids are all older and off to college, and you'll have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
When we are running around in the wheelchair, yeah.
Exactly. Now, let's talk some videos. I went to the YouTube and youtube.com/user/Oddleif Stensland, and there I noticed a few videos. One was an official clip for the Magnetic Center, and then there was a couple of lyric videos for Where Echoes Gather Part 1, Beneath the Giant, and Where Echoes Gather Part 2, The Underground Swine. And these videos, the official clip and the lyric video clips, would you like to go into detail about how these were produced and the direction of these videos? Would you like to spend time about that?
Yeah, the lyrics video was actually made by a fan actually contacting us on Facebook and asked if he could do some work for us, and he was kind of into this lyric video, and we sent him the songs, and he made the part 1 and part 2 of Where Echoes Gather, that particular song on the album, and I think it turned out pretty cool. He did a good job on it. The official clip for the Pulse of the Earth was we traveled to Sweden, and we filmed that on location there with a company that is called 11 Frames, I think they are called, and they was like directing the clip, and it's more like a performance video of that song. So I think that also turned out pretty cool.
Very good stuff. Very entertaining.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And I'm about to ask you about your guitars, and as we're talking, I see you have a nice orange wall with a load of guitars.
I have compared to other musicians, I don't have many, but I think I have around like 20 guitars or something.
20 guitars, that's quite a
something
bit.
Like that.
Yeah,
I have kind of kept all the guitars I had from early beginning when I started playing, and I sold some, and some of them I tried to get back again, and yeah, I tried to kept it. I also had a company in Poland that made me some custom guitars. It's Mayonnaise Guitars, and they also have 3 or 4 guitars from them. They are really good. So that is like the main guitars that I actually use. So, but many of the guitars is just hanging on the wall here. So yeah, too bad. But,
so what is your favorite brand of guitar to play?
My main guitar is like the guitar it's a custom guitar from this guitar company in Poland. They built it for me in 2008, and I still use it. That is my main guitar. And I used it in studio since then. I used it every live concert, every rehearsal, and I still play. That is the only guitar I actually play for real. And I have some other guitars that I use if I'm kind of recording some clean guitars or something special or different. But that is the main guitar I go back to.
Interesting. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you what you do when you're not doing the band. And I noticed on your Facebook that you're involved in digital design. So I guess that keeps you busy when you're not doing the band, and that's pretty much your livelihood?
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer, and I have a small company doing magazines and brochures and catalogs and stuff like that. So that is what I do for a living, actually. So.
Very, very nice. And does it pay off for you? Does it make you?
Yeah, that is what
pay your bills?
that's what I do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it pays your
that's
bills.
what pays my bills. Yeah.
And it affords you the time to play in Communic when you can, which is great, right?
Yeah, because if I need to go on a tour or something like that, I can still do some work as long as I have internet connection.
Right.
So that is making it a little bit easier to get around and do stuff like that.
And how long have you been involved in this graphics design?
That's like 20 years, something like
Wow, I never knew
yeah.
that. I really never knew that.
So that is,
Congratulations. You were involved in it before it became really a big thing, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm actually like my profession or what my like education is actually. I'm a what's this called in English? A typographer, putting the newspaper together back in the days.
Oh yeah.
So before it went digital, actually. So I started out pretty early with that.
That's great. You were in the ground floor, if you want to say the ground floor,
Yeah.
when it wasn't even known. When people said, "What am I going to do with my life?" You already got your foot in the door, and now it's a very popular thing.
Yeah, it is, and yeah, that was also done the old way. It was just in the break when the computer print houses and stuff.
Very interesting, and best wishes with you and your career on that, and with Communic as well, of course.
Yeah, cool.
Oddleif, is there anything that you would like to say to your fans tuning in from around the world at this time?
I hope people give this album some time. They can find it on everywhere, I think, on Spotify, and they can listen to it. Don't need to buy it, actually. They can just go online and listen to it and see if it's something for them. Check it out. I think it's cool if you have an open mind for something new, I guess.
If you're into metal, there's definitely
Yes.
something about
If
Communic
you're
that
into
will
metal,
catch you.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're into metal, there's definitely something about the Communic sound that will catch you. Whether you're into like we talked about earlier, whether you're into prog, power, thrash, or what have you. If you're a fan of metal, you're definitely going to find something about Communic that you're going to enjoy, especially this album and the previous albums as well. Definitely check it out. You're definitely going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's been truly an honor to finally have gotten with you here to talk about your music and to talk with you here on the Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio. I think we got all the fans up to speed, but I just want to make sure that we got everything covered. So if there's anything else that we need to bring out, please let's do so. I think we covered everything that we possibly can without like talking about what do you like better, short hair or long hair? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that discussion going on. So,
Yeah.
but that is just me getting old. You know, when the hair is growing in your skull and getting out underneath your like a mustache or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm older than you, and I'm lucky if I even have hair anymore. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll take
that's
whatever I
how it
can.
is.
Exactly. But I want to thank you for an excellent interview. Leif.
Cool.
I wish you and all of Communic great success in the year to come. The brand new year 2018 is around the corner. May you get the best in the touring that you have time to do. And I hope that we have future opportunities to be here again on the Metal Meltdown to talk about your future releases. And I wish the best for you and the rest of Communic. So cheers to you and keep it cranked.
We will. Thank you, man.